So now that we have the start of our base map created and we have our neighborhood identified by our zip code, we need to now just select the features that fall within our zip code, because we don't care about anything that happens outside of our zip code for this particular project. We want to know how many schools and parks are in our zip code, and then eventually we're going to add how many sex offenders and where they live as well. So this is what we have to do. We have to do what's called a select by location. So we select by location, and we want to select, so it's asking us where are we selecting our features from. We want to select them from schools, parks, and regional parks. And it asks, what is the source layer? From where do you want to base this selection? We want to base this selection from inside the zip code, our neighborhood. So in my case, 92111, but for you, it could be whatever zip code you chose as your neighborhood. And we want to make sure that the 92111, that these three features are within our zip code. So we are going to choose are completely within the source layer feature. That is what we're going to choose. So we're going to pick this and we're going to hit apply. And what you'll see is it's created this query that has allowed only the features that are within our zip code to show up. So that's exactly what we want. So now we can hit close. And now we're going to create a whole set of new features that we can use. So we're going to right mouse click the schools layer, and we're going to go to selection, create layer from selected features. And then we notice that there's a school selection. We don't need this schools layer anymore. We only want the selection. So now we can right mouse click and remove it. And the only thing that's left are schools within our zip code. We're going to do the same thing with the parks. Parks SD, selection, create layer from selected features. Notice a new feature shows up here. We don't need this feature anymore. Same with regional. We go down here, selection, create layer from selected features. So there's the new one, and we don't need this anymore. So we're going to delete that as well. So now we have our map. It looks a bit like an island, but we now have our base map we can start working with. So we have our schools, our parks, city parks, and our regional parks. We need to rename these so that it makes sense. So for schools selection, we can just actually call it schools because that's what they are. And we can choose an icon, an image that we want to change our schools to look like. So you can go through and pick whatever it is that you want to use. I'm going to just pick this one for now. And then we can rename the SD or Parks SD to City Parks because they're maintained by the City of San Diego. I want to change my symbology because I do not like that color. It doesn't look like a park. And I'm going to change it to the green and hit OK. And OK. So then that shows up. And then you never want to have a park on your map look blue because that looks like a lake. So we want to change that too. So we double click. We're going to change that to the same color as the other park. And we're going to change the name here and call it County Parks. And now we have a map with all the data that we need. We're going to keep the zip code map here, but we're going to keep the layer turned off for the moment because we will use that layer later. So here is where you want to save your map. And then we'll start collecting our other data.